I cannot wait to get started here on all things Cal Poly. So from your first year through career services is here to really unpack the experiences, opportunities at Cal Poly. And without further ado, I say we get started. You're gonna really be joined by, I think, one of the best teams here at Cal Poly that is here for your success from even before you start at Cal Poly, even through graduation. What a cool opportunity to really work alongside our team in career services. Without further ado, I'll introduce myself. We'll kind of go through what we're gonna unpack here today, and then I'll throw it back over to our career services team. And if you're just joining us and missed the first part of our conversation here today, this is the first of, not the first, our fifth of 5 webinars on all things Cal Poly. I'm really excited to unpack this. These are all leading into our big event that's going to be Open House. Cal Poly's Open House is coming to you starting in 1 week on April 8th through 15th. And this is the fifth of 5 webinars. If you want to check out any of the past webinars, check out the Cal Poly Admissions YouTube channel. And without further ado, let's kind of get started. Let's go over here where we are physically. I really would wish that we could accommodate you all on campus in San Luis Obispo, California. And Cal Poly, I invite you all, wherever you are joining us here from today, to really get to understand where we are. And so Cal Poly and San Luis Obispo is not necessarily, Cal Poly is not the first peoples or the first group here in our local community on the Central Coast of California. So I want to let you all know that Cal Poly is located in Tohini. Tohini is kind of the cultural hub or the place of the full moon. And this is all based off of the experiences of the first peoples of San Luis Obispo. And so we want to acknowledge where we've come from and respect and want to thank the Yaktichu Tichu Yaktahini Northern Chumash tribe of San Luis Obispo. And so located here on the Central Coast of California, that's really the first peoples of San Luis Obispo. And I want you all to invite yourself wherever you are throughout the world to really understand who are the first peoples in your area. And this is kind of a part of the experience coming into Cal Poly you'll learn more about. And to further introduce Cal Poly and introduce myself, my name is Aaron Borgeson, and I serve as an admissions officer in the Office of Admissions. My pronouns are he, him, and I get to really guide you through kind of the nuts and bolts of what we're going to be going through here today. We're joined by our team from Career Services, and I want to let you all know, students, parents, and guests, check out the functionality down below. And then I also want to know who's here today. So let us know. We're going to launch a poll question here. I want to know where you're joining us from. Maybe it's throughout California, maybe you're even an international student, or even maybe outside the United States, or all throughout the United States. Maybe you're calling from across our different time zones. And then what type of visitor are you? Maybe you're a first-year student. That's a term that we use here at Cal Poly to mostly define students that are coming from high school. Maybe you're also a transfer student coming in as a junior level transfer student, parent supporter, all really exciting for you all to really unpack all things Cal Poly. And then what major were you, or what college were you accepted into? We have 6 different colleges all on campus here in San Luis Obispo. So I want to know where you're coming from here today. That's exciting to see your responses filter in. And then students, parents, and supporters, if you want to throw in your particular major that you've applied to or been conditionally admitted to Cal Poly in, go ahead and throw that in the chat. I'll start us off. My original degree when I came to Cal Poly was political science, and I was originally from SoCal. So I was originally from Temecula, California, about an hour north of San Diego. Go ahead and throw that in the all panelists and attendees chat. Let us know where you're coming from here today. And then last but not least, check out that Q&A function where you have a team of panelists here for your success here today. So go ahead and throw in that Q&A where you're coming from, and throw in the chat where you're coming from and your particular major, and then use that Q&A for any questions that you have throughout our experience here today. And without further ado, let's throw it back to our team at Career Services to really launch us into what we have in store for you today. And while we go into the transition, check out where your peers are joining us here today as well. So, all right, let's get started.
All right, Aaron, thank you for the warm welcome and introduction. Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Hammond. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Associate Director of Career Counseling and Education. I'm going to quickly go over what we have in store for you this afternoon or this evening, as I see some of you are in different time zones. We're going to have Tommy from our freshman focus team of career counselors share a bit about what you can expect in your first year from career services. Then we have the amazing Zishan, one of our student ambassadors, who will share a bit from the student perspective. And then I'm going to do an interview with Cynthia Toussaint, who is a employer and Cal Poly parent. And then Eileen Beaker will take it home with some closing remarks. Eileen is our executive director at Career Services. And then of course, we'll have some time at the end for Q&A for any questions. And then you're also welcome to put them into the Q&A feature on the webinar. So with that, I'm going to pass it along to Tommy.
Thanks, Amy. Hello, everyone. As Amy said, my name is Tommy Peterson. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I serve as one of the 3 freshman focus team career counselors here at Cal Poly Career Services. A little bit about myself. Unlike it seems like most everyone in our group today, I'm originally from the East Coast. I grew up about an hour south of Washington, D.C., but as of 2019, I made it over to the West Coast, Best Coast, and I've been here ever since, and I don't plan on ever leaving. So for those of you who've been fortunate to grow up in NorCal, SoCal, I understand why you have stayed and never left. But we are super excited to be speaking with you today a little bit about what we do here at Career Services, specifically for our first year students, and also knowing that there are some admitted transfer students on the call as well. So definitely wanting to make sure that we talk to you about all the offerings that we have here for all of our students, as well as our alumni as well. So on the freshman focus team, you'll see Jade, Hannah, and myself. Those 3 of us all work together in collaboration, really to understand that there are developmental differences that our first year students might need some support in that are going to be different from our students who are second years transfers and graduating. So it's understanding specifically, what does a major in biology mean for career opportunities for me? I understand this is what I want to study. What does this look like I can do full-time post-graduation? So definitely knowing we can talk a little bit more about that in depth and some of the great resources we have here in Career Services. But then additionally, what are things you can start right now? A lot of individuals ultimately think that when you're a junior or senior, that's when you start applying to internships, that's when you start networking. But knowing the biggest advantage for the first year incoming student is going to be that you have time. You can make those connections. You can really start off your networking opportunities really strong within your first year. So how can we help you with those from the get-go, knowing that a lot of you are really excited and really interested to see what opportunities lie ahead, not only at your time at Cal Poly, but also what it's going to mean beyond it. But then a little bit too, in addition to those tangible things from resumes and cover letters, that's what a lot of people know us as. But we also want to encourage students to engage in intentional self-reflection, from understanding your VIPs, as we call them, your values, interests, your identity, personality, and strengths. We have a couple of different assessment tools that we have for individuals who are still questioning maybe what they want to do, because there might be some of you, as you're throwing in the chat, this is a major you were admitted with. Maybe you might not necessarily be interested in pursuing that full time, or you might want to think about double majoring. We definitely have those opportunities to talk about as well. But then transporting that beyond your first year, we also do have our college specialist team as well. And so can we go to the next slide? Perfect. So what you'll see here is we have 6 different college specialists. Each of them are for our 6 different colleges, and they really help with our students from our transfers, second year students, as well as alumni, to be able to support them, understanding that you're probably still going to be looking for those internship and research opportunities, as well as what does it mean for job opportunities and interviewing. When you get into your senior year, you might be juggling multiple job offers, and how do you negotiate which one you want for yourself, but also how do you have that uncomfortable conversation about negotiating your salary. These people are really the ones who are going to help you individually based upon your college and your experience of what's going to be most beneficial for you. You might be considering graduate programs and which ones might be most in align with your interests personally and professionally, and they can definitely help you out with that as well. And then also still, you might have questions as regards to what career path you're going to be going on even after your first year, and knowing that these professionals are still well-versed in those opportunities for you as well. So knowing that regardless of being a first-year student, transfer student, we have a really great staff team who knows exactly what support you're going to be needing within anything and everything related to your career. But outside of our human resources as people, we also have a lot of different resources that we can really support your students on, from the ways that you can get connected to us. So our main 2 ways are going to be our drop-in hours as well as appointments. Sometimes you might not need a full 30-minute or hour appointment and you want to just come in for a quick 10, 15 minutes. So we host drop-in hours during the day, as well as our career service ambassadors, which you'll get to meet one of a little bit later. And they'll be hosting evening hours too, to make sure that you have those quick questions if you want someone to check in on your resume to make sure that it's all good. but also if you want to get connected to a full appointment, to really have that intentional time set aside to be able to go through all the questions you might be having and looking over your resume, or going through how to get connected to a professional in Cal Poly Career Connections. In addition to that, we also have workshops, panels, events, oh my, we do it all here. We really bring in really great opportunities for our students to get connected and understanding that there are things that are happening currently as well as nationally. So some of the workshops that we've hosted are, what does it mean, to find an opportunity when you don't have experiences, how to get connected even when we're in a virtual environment based upon the pandemic. And similarly with our panels, bringing in really great professionals who are working in today's climate, and then also the alumni to understand what are their lived experiences and how students can really relate to those. And then in addition, we have some really great on-demand resources, things that you don't necessarily need to talk to someone about, but you can access them whenever, wherever, so long as you have a stable internet connection, because we know sometimes that can be a challenge, especially in our Zoom world. But we have really great opportunities to get connected to professionals through Cal Poly Career Connections, which I know Eileen's going to talk about a little bit later, but also really great opportunities for students if you're looking at getting some additional feedback on your interviews. We have something called Big Interview. We really have a lot of great resources that you can access anytime, anywhere. So make sure you go ahead and check those out. And then one other piece we'd like to highlight is understanding that sometimes there are those professional boundaries and barriers in regard to professional dress and clothing. Even in our world with COVID-19, we're still supporting students in obtaining professional dress and clothing through our professional clothing closet. So understanding that you might not necessarily have the means to be able to go out and buy them, but we do have the support to be able to get you able to be interview ready and feeling confident to talk to employers for any interest you have. That's just a touch of all the resources. I wish that we had more time to be able to go more in depth on all of them, but definitely know once you're here at Cal Poly matriculated in and can schedule appointments yourself, you can definitely talk to one of the career counselors here to be able to figure out what resources are going to be best for the questions that you individually have. And now I'm going to turn it over to Zishan to talk about his perspective as a student.
Hey everyone, my name is Zishan. It's pronounced just like a Z and a Sean. I am currently a senior studying computer science here at Cal Poly. I'm also doing a minor in entrepreneurship. I'm from the Bay Area, from Los Gatos in the South Bay. I went to St. Francis High School. I saw that we had some NorCal people here, so hopefully got some Lancers in the chat too. But definitely great to meet you all, and congratulations on your acceptance to Cal Poly. It's an amazing school, and I'm sad that I'm currently not there right now. But yeah, so I wanted to take a second and introduce, why I'm here, what I'm doing with you all. And I just wanted to say congrats, first of all. And, from Career Services, I've had an awesome opportunity this year to be the Career Services Ambassador for the College of Engineering. So I've had the opportunity to really learn about all different majors within the college, as well as what career opportunities, resources, training, as well as just different job opportunities and connections that Career Services offers to all of our students. And I'd like to really start things off by just sharing a quick story. I got my first internship freshman year through Cal Poly, actually from a professor out of all places. When I started off as a computer engineering major, I really did not know what I was doing. I was so confused. I was really like, I can't get an internship this summer. However, I was really lucky to start talking to my department director and really asking some important questions about what I wanted in a career and what I wanted in studying. I didn't want to take their own classes. So with that, I really expressed my interest, and he helped me kind of learn some of the tools I would need, and later connected me to my first internship opportunity. So what I'd really like to say is, Cal Poly is a school with unlimited resources in terms of, networking, showing you those tools, showing you how to do it. And especially here at Career Services in this student position, I think that we offer some great tools that are just beyond resourceful for us. For example, we have sample PDF or Word doc resumes and cover letters available for free for Cal Poly students, or technically anyone. So if you go to our Cal Poly website, I'll drop a little link in the chat in a minute. You'll actually be able to download, say, for example, you're an agricultural business major, you'll see a copy of a resume for a student who would be in that major. And you can download that, edit that, tailor it to your needs. And that's definitely something I did, because I do not like writing cover letters. And my first resume copy definitely came from a template on Cal Poly's website. So yeah, just here to share a little bit of a student perspective. If there are any questions that I can answer in chat, please let me know. However, Cal Poly for students in terms of connecting to career opportunities, this is a great place because we get people visiting us on campus, people coming to Madonna in San Luis Obispo, just about a couple miles off campus. We've had some great career fairs in person and virtually, and they've been some great networking opportunities for us as students, as well as just to make some new friends. So definitely excited for all of you, and I hope you all the best. I wish you all the best for your career journeys and for your start at Cal Poly.
All right, thanks so much, Zishan. Now you all had the opportunity to hear from career services staff and from a student, and we thought you might like to hear from an employer as well. So it's my honor to be able to introduce Cynthia Toussaint. She is a member of the Career Services Advisory Council, but she has a few different hats related to Cal Poly. She is also an employer. She is the founder and president of Strategic Global Advisors located in Newport Beach. And she is also a Cal Poly parent. Her son recently graduated from Cal Poly. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you, Amy. You forgot to mention that my husband also went to Cal Poly.
That's right. Another connection there.
And you know what's interesting is I just remember ever since the first day I met him, which we've been married for 20 plus years. He has always had great luck networking with other Cal Poly people. He's always told me that when he has applied for jobs, if somebody is a Cal Poly graduate and they see that he's applying, it's always been a huge benefit to him. So I think there's, I think the students themselves and the graduates and alumni really recognize the quality of a Cal Poly degree. So I think there's a huge level of trust from an employer standpoint. So I have to say I'm biased that way because obviously I think the world of my husband. He's an engineer and, so has, never been without a job. He's the only person I know who actually gets a job from a newspaper ad. It's really incredible. So let me just mention, I actually have two companies. I have an asset management firm. We manage about $5 billion in global equities, and I have 30 employees there, and they're all very high level, multiple master's degrees. But I have hired a number of people out of Cal Poly, out of the business school, and they have just did an incredible job. My team loves them. They are some of our top performers. And I've just been so impressed with, being sort of that ready day one coming in. And then I also have a second company. It's an education company. I have another 30 employees over there. And we've hired, programmers, scientists, musicians out of Cal Poly, and they are all writing curriculum for us like crazy. They're doing an incredible job. And this is a Houston-based company, and they're hiring the Cal Poly people, and they're just loving the Cal Poly talent that's coming into the company. So I mean, as an employer, I value very highly. I have a lot of friends that do recruiting out of Cal Poly. For instance, I saw there was a graphics major in the chat, and a good friend of mine works for a major publisher, and he does a lot of recruiting at Cal Poly because he says the learn by doing method gives those students real hands-on printing, which apparently is very rare. It's hard to find students who actually have that hands-on mass production printing experience. My brother is a food scientist, and he's commented that, and I saw there's a nutrition major, and he's commented that the equipment and everything that's available for students in that the whole learn by doing is all available at Cal Poly, and he's been very impressed with the equipment there, and they're known for that. It's not that he just knows it. They're known to have sort of this whole learn by doing angle to careers. And let me just put in a word. I know Eileen's going to be talking, but what I've been most impressed about being involved in career services is that Eileen measures herself against all the leading universities, not just in California, but nationwide. And she makes sure that, the number of companies visiting the campus, the number of employers that are interviewing students, the attendance at career fairs, the actual, number of students getting jobs, they compare with the highest level institutions. In fact, a lot of Cal Poly graduates, I've heard them say this, Zishan, I don't know if you would agree with this statement, but they like to call Cal Poly the Princeton of the West Coast. So it's extremely difficult to get into. Everybody knows it. And it's a very highly regarded institution. So congratulations to everybody on the call.
Cynthia, I really appreciate you sharing from multiple perspectives that you have about the value of the Cal Poly education and how it's preparing students for the workplace. If it's all right, could I ask a couple of follow-up questions for you to share with the audience?
Yeah, sure.
You touched on some of this, but do you think you could elaborate a little bit on what distinguishes Cal Poly students from other candidates that you've interviewed or hired?
Well, I have to say the single biggest distinguishing feature is Cal Poly students. When you say, what did you think of Cal Poly after you've graduated? I have not met a single person who didn't say they absolutely loved the experience. That is by far the biggest thing that stands out to me. And we interview hundreds of people. And I have to say, and I'm not supposed to name any other universities on this call, but trust me, I don't hear that. I hear just the opposite from a lot of students. They're like, do not send your kids here. It's too crowded. There wasn't room in the classroom. We never get to see the instructor. So I think that what Cal Poly really offers is the real ability to connect with professors. Those are the people who teach them in the classroom. They could walk into the career services and get help anytime. Career services will actually get to know you. You're not just a number there. So it really has that small school feel to it.
And then I have one final question for you. So as I mentioned, in addition to being an employer, you are also a Cal Poly parent. So we have some students and supporters on the call. What career planning advice would you give to incoming students?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, one of the biggest values you can get from a career perspective at Cal Poly is networking with other students. These are the people that you're going to start a business with. I don't care if you're in nutrition or art or music, get to know a computer science major, get to know an aerospace major, because if you start a company, those are the kind of people that you need to network with. And Cal Poly, this is your opportunity to do that. I also would say that treat career services as your second home. Spend a lot of time there. Go to the workshops. Make sure Amy knows your name, or make sure Eileen knows who you are. And the same goes for your professors. Make sure they know your name, because when a company calls up and says, "Hey, Eileen, do you have somebody with these skill sets?" or "I'm looking for this kind of person," your name will be at the top of her mind. So that's the best advice I can give students. And Cal Poly is it's a small enough school that you can make that happen.
Wonderful. Well, again, we really appreciate you sharing your insight. And again, thank you. And
Sure, my pleasure.
Something Cynthia said as well regarding networking. I think Tommy mentioned it, but we have a networking platform where you can connect with alumni for networking. And we do in-person events when we're on campus. And not only do we provide the opportunities, but our career counselors and our workshops are there to help you figure out how to network, because I know that can sound a little bit intimidating, but we want to make that process really accessible and comfortable for you. So we're there to guide you through that so that you can take full advantage of those opportunities with confidence. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eileen Beeger, our Executive Director, and she will share a little bit more information with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Eileen Beeker. I am the Executive Director for Career Services, and I have the honor and privilege of working with all these panelists. And I hope you're feeling the sense of team and community that we've created for you. We are very driven by helping you become successful in your career choices and life choices. And as Tommy mentioned, we work with you as early as your first year, or if you're a transfer student, as soon as you arrive on campus. We work with you throughout your college career, and then we also provide lifetime alumni service to you. So the community extends beyond graduation. And so today I'm going to talk to you about some of our employer services. So career services, we have a 20-member team. Half of them are on the career education and counseling team. So as Tommy mentioned, we have a 3-person freshman focus team, and then I have a college specialist career counselor for each college. So your sophomore year through senior year, and then as an alum, you will be working with the college specialist. So as they're preparing you for your career choices and networking, you know, the internship and job search, as well as graduate school planning, I have an employer services team that is working with the employers on a daily basis, nurturing relationships, developing in jobs and internships to give you a multitude of options. Again, as early as your first year, or again, when you arrive as a transfer student. I'm going to talk about some of these services, and you have access to them as soon as you get your email address, your Cal Poly email address. So Mustang Jobs, we probably have about 78% students who are active on this platform each year. And it is our primary means of communicating to you about jobs, internships, fellowships, on-campus recruiting, career fairs, career education. You can sign up for career counseling appointments through this platform. So you definitely want to get engaged on the platform and stay engaged, because we'll be communicating to you on an ongoing basis about all our services and offerings. And again, you have lifetime access to that platform. As far as career fairs, we have between 8 and 10 a year. And these are the big events that support all 6 colleges and all 20,000 plus undergraduate and graduate students. As a matter of fact, that's where I met Cynthia. She was recruiting at one of our career fairs, and we had a couple conversations, and then I invited her to be a part of our career advisory council, which is about 20 industry leaders. So she's one of our founding members, and I believe we're about 4 years old now. And they ensure that the direction we're going is aligned with industry and economic trends. But with that being said, for career fairs, when we're in person, we can have more than 200 companies at each career fair, and we can have up to 4,000 students. Each quarter, we have 2-day events. Some of them are in our rec center on campus. Some of them we take off campus. We also have some specialized events for computer science, architecture. We have a diversity event and a few others. But know, as has already been indicated, that a lot of employers are traveling to come to Cal Poly to connect with you. At our career fairs, we average between 36% to 40% are Cal Poly alumni. So they are very committed to coming back and opening doors for you. And also know that these career fairs are a cultural experience. Like, our students line up early. There is, I call it happy chaos. It's organized, it's fruitful, but there's lots of people. But students get offers for interviews, as well as internship and job offers on the spot. So know that you will be in demand. As you engage in your academic curriculum, the learn by doing, leadership activities, community events, service events, you will be very prepared to be successful in any career path that you choose. So, and the career fairs, like I said, I call them a celebration, a cultural experience, because people are so happy. It is a huge gathering, and we just see how committed the employers and alumni are to recruiting you. So as Cynthia said, you worked really hard to get to Cal Poly. You'll work hard here. You'll learn a lot. You'll be involved in teams and experiential learning, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So there's a strong sense of community, and that shows up at all our events. So I think that's exciting. And you can always go to our website and see the events. Our calendar for the new academic year will be up in April. And we do encourage transfer students and first years to attend these events. And don't be intimidated, because I have a career counseling table and they coach you through everything. They'll take you on tours. And as Cynthia said, if you ask Amy or I or any of the career counselors, we'll personally introduce you to the employers. Some other things too to note, that in conjunction with the career fairs, the employers, because they're traveling from Northern California, Southern California, the Valley, as well as other states, they tend to spend the whole week at Cal Poly. So we have our signature events, and then the student clubs, the departments, they organize around us. So there are additional information sessions and networking events during the week, but they stay to do interviews, and the interviews are at the career fair, whether it's at Madonna Inn or our rec center, but also we have one-on-one interviews and group interviews scheduled through the career services office. And that happens all year round, not just the career fairs. So that's very exciting. And again, you find out about all these opportunities through Mustang Jobs. So I mentioned company information sessions. They're held throughout the year, and the organizations come and they bring alumni, their teams to connect with you so you can learn about the company and the culture. And then usually with the information session, following that, they'll have on-campus interviews, they'll post jobs and internships, and then they'll attend our career fairs. So our employer partners are very committed to being a part of the community, similar to us and you and the alumni. So a very vibrant network. And I can't say enough about alumni at Cal Poly. And we have been developing a really, really strong and vibrant network for years. So Cal Poly students, as Cynthia mentioned, want to give back. They have a good experience at Cal Poly. They're really proud of their education, and they want to open doors to current students. And so they come to our career fairs. We have group events throughout the state of California. And since we've been virtual, we are now doing an out-of-state series, and we're traveling across the country to 6 different cities over 6 months. So we had Seattle, I think it was last week. We're going to Denver, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., and there's one other one, I think. But it goes through August. So that's exciting. So the thing to know is that since we had to pivot like you did in high school, we had to pivot to the virtual platform for engagement and teaching and learning. We've realized that we're able to leverage our alumni network and our employers in bigger ways. So the benefit of all this is when you start your Cal Poly career, that you will have both the in-person events and the virtual events. We realize that not all the companies can travel. There's smaller organizations. There's some organizations that don't have big recruiting budgets. So we will have virtual opportunities to support you for a search locally, in the state, nationally, and then internationally. So I'm super excited about, with all the challenges and barriers, that we're able to leverage technology in innovative ways to support your career growth. So that's exciting. Amy mentioned this. So Cal Poly Career Connections, about 8 months before COVID hit and we all vacated campus and went virtual, we invested in a platform that allows alumni to network with each other and students. And so our timing, even though we didn't know about COVID, our timing was perfect because this platform has grown in leaps and bounds. And what's exciting about it, it is a true campus collaboration. So career services, alumni engagement, the Cal Poly Alumni Association, and each of the 6 colleges are a part of this collaboration. And we have a working group under Amy's leadership, and we meet quarterly to ensure that we're meeting the needs of all the students and alumni. So currently we have about 8,000 students and alumni on the platform. And then again, you'll be able to join when you start your career at Cal Poly. It's always growing because we're always marketing this platform, and you can connect one-on-one or in groups. So we have several departments and student groups who have set up groups that you can network with current students and alumni. I think we have about 24 groups online, and again, 8,000 students and alumni. So we're really excited about this opportunity for you to informally and formally network with alumni, get advice. And what's happening is that we're not posting jobs or internships on here, but they are going offline. A lot of folks are getting connected through LinkedIn, or they're posting the opportunities on Mustang Jobs. So you'll have the opportunity to connect with our network informally, formally, virtually, and in person. We want to keep the talent pipelines or the pipelines open for you as talent to connect with our employers. And we're always creating new group experiences and initiatives each year that I feel are timely and again, connected to economic and industry trends. And then finally, I want to talk to you about outcomes. So you're investing your minds, your heart, your time in your college career. I think it's really important that you learn about where our graduates go, after they graduate. What's your return on investment, and not just financially, again, your heart, your mind, your commitment. Like, where do our alumni go? Like, what are the results of a Cal Poly education? So we do a Cal Poly graduate status report each year, and it's basically a survey that we ask the graduating class. And we ask before you would graduate, and then up to 9 months after you graduate. And we just want to know what's happening, what are you doing, how did we support you, and what can we do better? And I'm happy to report that we typically each year our response rate gets higher and higher. I believe we're at a 68% response rate, which is really high for a university of our size. And we average between 93 and 95% positively engaged. And what that means is that students or graduates have a job, an intentional activity, fellowship, or they're in grad school. And you can see the breakdowns in that first box. So the majority of our students work full time. Oh, can you go back to the first screen? I want to talk about a few other things. The majority of our students work full time. You'll see 13% attending graduate school. That fluctuates each year, no matter where we're at in the economy. It's been as high as 18 and 19%, and 13% has been the lowest. So that number is usually, it vacillates between 5 or amongst 5%. So a comment there. Also on the right side, it talks about how students get their jobs. So I mentioned that 78% of the students are engaged with us, and they're reporting that 47% have been finding their opportunities through our office. So I'm really proud of that, because we're not a required place for you to go, but we are a home away from home, as Cynthia indicated, and we want you to connect with our staff, with our team, and again, with our vibrant network. The other thing I wanted to mention, and before we go to this screen, is that last year, 80% of our students found their postgraduate opportunity before they graduated. That last year being, I'm sorry, not the COVID year when we started, but the year before. We're in the process of surveying the class of 2020 right now, and we'll have those results on our website by mid-May. So you can see we're still investigating how COVID impacted our students. But from what we're hearing is that a lot of their opportunities were delayed. They weren't canceled. The other things that we have heard, including with internships, that the hardest hit areas may have been canceled, but 3 out of 4 internships, the employers just created a virtual experience for them. I can also happily report that COVID hit like around March 15th. We had a career fair 6 weeks later, and we had 61 employers and 185 reps virtually connecting with students. The other good news is that in the spring last year, I think we were down 50% in our job and internship postings, but now we're only down 20%. And we average between 35,000 and 38,000 postings each year. So we have a lot of employers wanting to hire you. So, okay, I'm done with the screen, sorry. Okay, so the final screen, California employment by region. So you'll see the Bay Area is 42%. This is the primary first destination place for the majority of our graduates. And that is consistent every year. What's been happening historically, Los Angeles County and the southern counties was number 2. But in the last couple of years, more and more students are finding opportunities in SLO. And San Luis Obispo County, including the university, are very committed to economic development and bringing more jobs and internships to the area. So I can see that number increasing. So when you graduate, you know, in 2, 3, 4 years, I expect that number to be higher because more companies are moving here. And also we don't know if the virtual platform is going to let you telecommute. You know, like I said, a lot of the things that we created through this virtual year will stick with long-term because it's working. And the employers are finding it's working. And it won't take away from the in-person events or you know, when we're together, because Cal Poly is very much a community experience and we miss being together, but I can see more options being available to you that we did not think would come out of this experience this past year. So I'm excited for you in your future. Also to the right is our salary. So the average salary amongst all our majors, 6 colleges, is $65,000. That is higher than the national average because, as Cynthia, I track everything and compare us with other universities across the country. And you'll see it by college. So the salaries are competitive. You know, our students negotiate somewhat, but our salaries are on the higher end. And it's really based on the industry and career path that you are in. Also note too, computer science is clumped into engineering, but that average salary is much higher than the 75,000. I saw some computer science majors coming in really higher. And they, for computer science, we have our own separate career fair for you every fall. Because there's there's more companies interested in you than folks graduating from our curriculum. So it's all good. And I think that's it for me. I can go on and on and on because I am really excited about the Cal Poly education. And again, our network and my team, I can say this, and I have very high expectations. They are unconditionally committed to your success. Our professional staff, our career ambassadors, our student workers, we work collectively to ensure that you're feeling a sense of belonging, that we're exposing you to good experiences, that we're infusing growth mindset, diversity and inclusion, and all our offerings to make you a more well-rounded human being, and you're ready for what's next in your life. That's what I have to share tonight, but I think Amy next will be
wonderful
questions or
yes. Thank you, Eileen. That was a really great overview of some of the additional services and things that we offer. We've been trying to respond to questions in the chat, and it looks like there are quite a few questions coming up about internships. And hopefully, as we've been talking, you've been getting an idea of the many ways that we're available to support you with internships. But just to kind of synthesize it all together, we're bringing employer opportunities to you through career fairs, interviewing, our Mustang Jobs job listing site, but also we are helping you more with that customized approach. If you have something specific that you're looking for, you could meet with your career counselor, come to the drop-in hours, so we can come up with a customized plan for you to reach that goal. And you may not know what that goal is, and the counselors are available to help you with that as well. Like Tommy was talking about, kind of reflecting on who you are, what interests you, what you feel that your strengths are, to maybe sort out the direction that you want to go. And another common question we get is about first years getting internships. Is it possible? Should I do it? It definitely is possible. And again, using our resources, we're going to help you if that's your goal to try to attain that. But also, there's a lot of things coming out at you your first year. If there are other things that you want to do, those can be very valuable too. Part-time summer job, taking classes. So we can kind of talk through what's going to ultimately help you get your goal. We do encourage, though, that before you graduate, that you would pursue at least one internship, because it's a great way to start building your experience and also to really test drive a career and see in a shorter term amount of time what it's like, what you like, maybe areas that you want to explore in your next opportunity. So again, bring all those questions to us. And it looks like, Eileen, you'd like to add on to that.
I do. Yeah, Amy, thank you. Also note too, there are opportunities for academic credit internships and non-credit internships. So we have lots of opportunities through our office. If you wanted to convert it to academic credit, you would work with your academic department within your college. Some majors, it's built into the curriculum and it's required. For others, it's like an independent study credit, etc. And you can do an internship throughout the year, because there are a lot of opportunities locally and SLO. And again, I'm feeling like these virtual internships may stay. I've also worked with a lot of students that had a summer internship in person and their employer kept them on for project work and they worked virtually. So definitely a lot of opportunities to do the internships, and you're learned by doing within the curriculum, and your courses prepares you not only for your career search, but for being a competitive candidate for an internship.
We've also had a few questions come in regarding looking for opportunities internationally, as well as a question about opportunities for international students. Eileen, would you like to take that, or would you like me to?
I can make some comments and then can you add on?
Sure.
We do a lot of work with the international students. So we have a really strong partner with in the International Center for Students. And we actually just did some research last week. So out of those 35,000 jobs that we're posting, 20% of them are open to all different work authorizations. So CPT, OPT, and then positions abroad. So, and as Amy indicated with the internships, the career counselors will work with you individually to identify different opportunities, even if they're not posted on our website. And then the final resource, and Amy, I'm hoping you can talk more about it, is Going Global. It's a really great platform where you can learn about how to work in America, how to work in different countries. It has job and internship opportunities. And Amy, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Sure. Yeah, when Tommy was speaking earlier, he mentioned our on-demand resources. So we have an assortment of resources that we subscribe to that you will get access to as a student, and Going Global is one. Eileen touched on some of what it offers, but it's a really great resource because they curate the content and they keep it very up to date, because the different countries have different ways of creating your resume. They have different interview practices. So we can help you navigate that. And, right now, while we're doing a lot virtually, some of those experiences converted to a virtual experience. But it's a very cool opportunity to get an experience in a different place while also building up your work experience. So we're definitely happy to support you with that.
Yeah. And if you are an international student, on Cal Poly Career Connections, our networking platform, we have an international group where you can network with other international students from people all over the world.
I'm going to throw a question to Tommy, if you don't mind. I saw a question in the Q&A about what to expect with career advising. And sometimes students might feel a little unsure about stepping into the Career Center because maybe you feel like you should have a definitive plan, but that's definitely not the case. We want to invite you in regardless of where you are in your career exploration and planning Tommy, can you talk a little bit about what it might be like in an appointment with a student?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely within career advising, we see anything and everything. Today alone, I was meeting with, I think, 5 different students. Some of them specifically really want to talk about their resume, making sure it looks good for an internship they're looking at. But then I also have students who are saying, so this is the first week of classes. I now know definitively I do not want to major specifically from a student today in animal science, but where do I really want to go? What do I want to do? So really, we're open-minded to really helping you figure out what are those resources you're going to need in the moment, because you're going to come in with different questions, different concerns, and we're really here to help you what those might mean, help process with you, and think developmentally. There are a lot of different things that you could be doing, but where do we want to start on that bite-sized piece of today? So for a student who is not really sure where they wanted to go, but not necessarily wanting to still stay within animal science, what we worked on was figuring out what our degree programs they're interested in some way, shape, or form, and then connected him to some resources that are able to help him dive deeper to say, are these majors he would be interested in pursuing, and then connecting with the Mustang Success Center, who helps students really figure out from an academic perspective what they're doing. But ultimately, within our students, we really want to make sure that we are helping you with whatever questions you might have. So to understand, you don't have to have specific questions. And I always tell my students, there's no such thing as a dumb question when it comes to your career-related questions that you're going to have, because some of them are saying, okay, I know that networking is really important, but what are the ways that I can do this? Or how can I, reach out to an employer? I've heard about career connections. I went to that webinar that you all hosted in, the spring quarter, but what do I say to an employer, or what questions would I ask? So definitely knowing that we're really here to help you process through ultimately what your goals are, and then help you clarify them and see what ways you can really achieve them within your time. So know that you can come to us. There are some students who meet with us on a regular basis. Some students just meet, as they need to, but recognizing that we're truly here to support you in your endeavors in any way we can, and support you in the resources that are definitely going to help you along your path.
Amy, I would definitely encourage students also to not wait until the spring to look for internships. I know as an employer that other employers are looking in the fall for students to fulfill internship opportunities for the summer. And there's, actually, there's a lot of competition for interns. Interns are very valuable resources. They're frankly very inexpensive, and they get a lot of work done. So there's a lot of competition for interns, and I would say go to the career fairs in the fall and look for those internships. Don't think that, oh, it's summer, so I'll wait till the spring. And I would just go to every single career fair and, pass your resume around, and and don't forget that, yes, a lot of companies are recruiting computer science people, but they have a lot of other roles at their companies that you can apply for internships. So you don't have to just be a computer science major to go and apply to IBM or Apple. They're looking for a broad spectrum of talent. And by the way, I was just mentioned, major companies come to Cal Poly. You've got Goldman Sachs, Apple. I mean, they're all there. So it's pretty exciting to see the number of major companies that come onto Cal Poly's campus to recruit.
Thanks,
And I
Cynthia.
just wanted to add
Go
on.
ahead, Zishan. You go. I can wait.
So yeah, just really quickly wanted to add on and share with all the students that our career fairs are a great time, because a great thing to know is that when you go into college, it's important to make mistakes. I'm sure many of us have been making mistakes before anyways, but if you make those mistakes, like say, for example, in an interview and you didn't prepare and they asked you a coding question in your interview or whatever question, it's okay to make that mistake. And, career services has help, as well as student clubs on campus. We have a lot of training offered, peer-to-peer interview sessions and things of that nature. So I think that it's a really great opportunity, especially as a freshman. Just get in there, and if they open the doors up in person, grab some free swag. As a freshman, that's definitely I have a little bag, a Ziploc full of swag. You can't see it, but a little Ziploc full of swag that I've collected over the years. And yeah, as if you get the opportunity to move on to campus and you don't want to do laundry, grab those t-shirts. I definitely recommend that.
Zishan, that is great. Eileen, did you have anything to add, or should we close it all out?
I did. I wanted to say,
Okay, perfect.
I wanted to add on to that again, the student clubs and the departments, they have smaller events that are major specific that are also happening throughout the year. But Cynthia's right, like all majors are invited to all our events. And a lot of the competitive offers are made first in the fall, secondly at our winter events, and then our spring events, which are very active. It's more real-time offers. And I saw there were several questions about who are these employers? Cynthia mentioned some of them, and we threw in some links to our career fairs where you can see who's registering for our events in real time. Also, the graduate status report has last year's graduating, not the COVID class, the year before, because we're always 9 months behind. But we also have historical data going back about 10 years of where our graduates go after graduation.
That's excellent. And I love just hearing all the different tidbits. I think over the last hour, we've really unpacked how career services, faculty and staff can come alongside you in your journey. Zishan, pop sockets, the cell phone sleeves, the resume, the booklets, all those different fun giveaways from our different career partners are so evident around campus. But I want to thank our panelists here today. As Eileen just mentioned, we have over 400 different clubs that are equipping our students. And some of those clubs exist to also and have the benefit of working with different employers and graduate opportunities as well. And thank you to our panelists here today. We're talking about internships, we're talking about opportunities abroad for your career development. We're talking about how if you're a first generation college student to a transfer student, to Cynthia, to maybe you're a multi-generational Cal Poly graduate, so many different opportunities for you to succeed here at Cal Poly. And congratulations again. You are we received over 65,000 undergraduate applications for this given year, selecting about 18,000 and having an incoming class of about 5,000. It is the highest number of applicants we've received to this date in time or year and point. So I want to congratulate you all for making it to this place in time. In the coming days, if you missed any of this information or the past webinars, we'll throw that right onto our website, on the Cal Poly Admissions YouTube page. And thank you so much again for taking the time in your evening to join us. And thank you again to the panelists. And without further ado, we'll close it out here and say, once again, congratulations, students and parent supporters. I know it takes a lot to get to this moment. So thank you so much, and we'll see you shortly. Thanks.
Hey there, my name is Rafael. I'm a fourth-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section, and go ahead and click here to subscribe, and to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a virtual visit or talk to any student or staff members, check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.